Okay, this is to show that the rule I'm using is very much straight. There's no without in it either way. The gap is there. So this rule is straight. I'm on a flat bed because this is actually my printing surface, so it is very flat. This is the plate from Funssor, which they reckon is good enough for linear rails because it's flat enough. And you can see the massive gaps on either side of that ruler. So when you tighten this down on this side, that's the effect you get on the other side. The linear rail will never ever work when you bend the plate over two of those. The angles on the rails will just be too much for those for the blocks and the rails to be able to manage. So I continue. So without trying to over exaggerate, if you look at how that ruler can move up and down, if that is the arc of this plate having to touch to my linear rails running on top of the 2020, when you tighten the screws on top of the plate and pull the block to the plate, naturally the blocks are going to twist. How does this company expect me to have these rails actually run up and down these rails, these blocks to run up and down these rails with that amount of twist in it? And that is, it's more than a millimeter and a half on the one side out. The tolerances on rails are much less than that. Okay, so just going forward, you can see here that I actually ordered this product, and I did order it in July this year, towards the end of July. I eventually, when I was trying to test it in September, I wrote them, said cannot use because it's not flat. I have to throw it away basically because I've got no choice. They asked me to take photos. I did. I showed them those gaps. I think probably the one mistake I made was to say that this is on the not so worse side is 0.25, but I didn't give them those gaps. The response pretty much came back with I was just explaining it's a little bit more harder to take photos and explain it. Essentially they went back to the tech staff and came back and said to me, no, I need to use springs to adjust when assembling. And I really lost it with them and said, you're joking. I've never heard anybody that uses springs to attach a linear rail to this plate. I gave them a day to resolve it basically, and they said no, the plate, essentially it just boiled down to they saying sorry, but this problem will not affect the amount on linear rail, and you should just use by adjusting for screws. My last comment to them is obviously you've got no idea what you're talking about when it comes to linear blocks and bent aluminium plate that you sell, and you know what, that's why I'm doing the effort to do this video. I'm really not impressed with these people. They're not coming back to even resolve this issue. Just as the last video, and pushing down on the side here, you can see this is I don't know if you can see it in the camera over there, but this is a 1 millimeter feeler gauge, and from one side to the other, you know what, there's a millimeter. That's a whole millimeter out. It really, as soon as I tighten up the rails onto this plate, tighten the blocks onto this plate and try and attach to my rails, the whole thing binds up and it can't move forwards or backwards. And apparently that's acceptable to this company. So if I was you, don't ever support them. Don't ever buy a product from them. They really don't care.